And one of the most competitive congressional races in the country is taking shape tonight.
Congressional District 1 covers East Phoenix, Scottsdale, Cave Creek, and Fountain Hills. The seat is open with Republican David Schweikert leaving it to run for governor. Joe Dana has a look at the Democratic candidates trying to break through in a crowded field.
The Democratic field for Congress in District 1 features two newcomers and two familiar candidates. During a recent clean elections primary debate, all four said their personal backgrounds helped set them apart. Amish Shah, an emergency room physician, is the only candidate with experience as a state legislator.
During my time there, I was one of the most effective legislators. I passed more bills into law than any Democrat in a decade down there.
Marlene Galan Woods is the daughter of Cuban immigrants and a former broadcast journalist.
I always had my life's work focused on exposing the truth and holding people accountable. That is exactly what I will do in Washington, D.C.
Jonathan Treble highlights his upbringing in a pro-union household, and more recently his experience navigating the healthcare industry as a patient needing costly surgery for a brain growth.
And I'm going to bring that fight to Washington to make sure no Arizonan has to fight for their life and fight for their coverage at the same time.
Rick McCartney touts his business chops as founder of a business magazine and former chair of a county workforce development board.
For 30 years, I have led organizations that have absolutely improved what happens here in our community.
But getting to Congress will also require a political advantage over the would-be Republican nominee. Treble portrays himself holding the banner of a new generation of Democrats.
Medicare for all, universal child care, reversing the Donald Trump tax cuts that were really in favor of billionaires and corporations.
Shaw highlights his broad coalition of supporters, not just Democrats, but a former state Republican House Speaker.
My biggest issue is that the Trump administration is simply violating the Constitution of the United States and desecrating it, and I'm going to hold him to account.
Galan Woods touts the endorsement of Arizona Attorney General Chris Mays. Both are former Republicans.
What I'm doing now is I am speaking to independents, I am speaking to Republicans, and I am speaking to Democrats all across the board. People are horrified by what they are seeing in this country, the corruption.
McCartney says winning the general will require appealing to conservatives turned off by the president.
And the first thing that we need to do, and as soon as we flip this House, is we need to repeal this big, ugly bill. This bill, as you know, took health insurance right out from underneath 400,000 plus people in Arizona.
One issue front and center for Arizona, the data center boom and the drought. Moderators asked two of the candidates about detrimental effects of big tech on the environment, and two candidates specifically about water and the drought.
I think when we think of desalination and working with San Diego and working with Mexico so that we can pull water from the Sea of Cortez.
Water is incredibly important, and it is an existential crisis. And I've reached out to tribal leaders. You see, our tribes have senior water rights over other states. We need to bring them into negotiations.
As far as data centers are concerned, they need to be good stewards and good members of the community and members of Congress. And in Congress, we need to hold them accountable. They need to be water neutral.
Economics like growth and opportunities for our people do not have to conflict with environmental priorities necessarily. So we've got to make sure that we can do both. But that's what a Democrat does, is make sure that those priorities are balanced.
If polls are any indication, whoever comes out of this field should have as good a chance as any in recent election cycles to topple the Republican. Running during a midterm when gas prices and inflation are up, and the war in Iran continues into its fifth month after the president said it would last 4 to 5 weeks. Polls show all three of those issues remain concerns among most voters. Joe Dana, 12 News.